They're just giving us 2 points. Now the first way I want you to do it right now with your table mates, I'd like you to graph both of those points. I'd like you to draw in the line, and then I'd like you to write the equation because you can figure out where it hits the y-axis, and you can count the slope.
Kermit.
The reason we start with this method, even though it's not terribly efficient, is that it is always your backup, right? So when we take a quiz on this stuff next Monday, and you're thinking, oh my God, I totally forgot how to do this, all you have to ask me for is a piece of graph paper. You can put the points on, and you can do it by graphing. It's not very efficient because if you don't have graph paper, it doesn't really work. So take a minute with your partners. Go ahead and put these points on, -4, 1, and 4, 3. Draw that line in nicely, and see if you can't steal all the information you need. Where is your intercept? In other words, where does it cross this line right here? And what is your slope? How many up and how many overs? When you got an answer you like, check your neighbor. Remember, if you got it wrong, don't feel bad. You're probably the better looking of the two of you.
No, I didn't. Okay.
So you can already see why this is not a great method for me. I miss a bunch of points. So that's why this method is not our go-to, because if you don't have graph paper and you don't have a straight edge, often you can be off a little bit and get the wrong answer. But for me, it looks like it's hitting there at 2 if I had done it nicely. And my up and overs. Now, you can go from here to here if you like, but the closer points that you use, the less likely you will have to reduce. So I am going to count up 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1/4 x plus 2. Can you wiggle your fingers, please, if you got it? So here's what I want you to remember. As always, this is your fallback. This will always work, always, always, always. But we're going to learn to do it today without using the graph. Okay? That's what we're doing. We're actually putting 2 things together that we already know how to do. It's just a lot. We're going to be doing slope, and we're going to be doing B. So we're doing both. So here's what I find sometimes frustrating when I'm a student. When the teacher puts up a problem and I'm trying to do it and I'm writing it down and it doesn't make any sense. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to do 3 of these together. The first one, I'd like you to put your pencil down and watch me. Just watch me. The second one, we're going to do carefully with notes. And then the third one, if you're feeling up to it, you're on your own. Okay? So let's see how we do. So here's what we need to do. On all of these problems, we are writing the equation of a line. And whenever I do this, the first thing I do, because I have a tendency to get done with the problem and be like, 3, I'm done. I literally do this. I write this on the side of my paper. So I remember that is my goal, to fill in those spaces, right? And today they're giving me nothing. They're not giving me an M. They're not giving me a B. They're just giving me 2 random points. So the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out this guy. And the way we do that is, for some of you who like this, you are welcome to use this formula. For others of you, I'm going to remind you the Mrs. Tarantino speedy way, right? But if you like that, you do that. So remember, the speedy way says we are finding the difference of y and the difference of x. So I take the first point, and you could do either one you want first, it doesn't matter. I put the second one underneath, and right now you should be thinking, oh yeah, I remember that. Now difference means subtract. That means change the signs of the second guy. That's all subtract means in real life. I'm not doing anything gypsy magic, nothing. So instead of being a +4, or -4, he's now positive. And if you want to throw a -0 in there, you can. You don't need to. And now I put them together. I had a kid in my last class who was struggling to say, I'll be honest, I have trouble with the negatives and positives. Think about it this way. The negative is like being in a hole, right? And positive is like a ladder. So if I am 5 feet in the hole and someone hands me a 4-foot ladder, do I get all the way out of the hole? No, I get almost out of the hole, but I'm still -1 in the hole. Does that make sense? So for some of you, if you're getting a little dicey on your negatives and positives, that can help. And then I'm at -1 in the hole, and everyone just laughs at me, so I'm still at -1. Now remember, slope is a fraction. So I take this guy, and he goes underneath, right? So that is my M, but I like it reduced. Talk to me, Luna.
Since there's two negatives for 1 and 0, would it be a positive or?
In this case, it's going to be -1, and then a negative, since it's just 0, it's going to just stay negative, right? If I was dividing or multiplying, yes, but it's like -1 and then 0, still 0. Good question. So how can I make -1 over -1? What's an easier way of writing that? +1, yeah? Or just +1 over 1? Either way, I'm going to put a 1 here. If you want to make it 1 over 1, that's awesome. Okay, that was old stuff. Now what we need to do is we need to do exactly what we did last night. We need to say, okay, I got my slope, y equals 1 x plus b. Now I need to get b, and I'm going to use helpers. But here's what. I can use this helper, or I can use this helper. It's up to you. I personally have a preference. Who can read my mind and tell me what they think my preference is? It is not my preference. Do you know my preference?
-4 and 0.
Why did I pick? Why would that be my preference? Now I'm going to tell you, -5, -1, not wrong. But why do I like -4, 0 better?
There's already a 0 in it.
It's got a 0, right? The easier I can make it, the easier. Like if you've got two positive numbers and you got two negative ones and one of them is 17, don't pick 17, ever. It's a dumb number. 51, also dumb. So here we go. I'm going to use this guy. He's my x, he's my y. So I'm going to say 0 equals 1 times -4 plus b. Have I lost anyone with what I did there? Everyone feeling like, I got that. I'm going to change this to -4. How do I get b by itself? I'm going to take that -4 and add 4 to both sides. Awesome. Beautiful. So b is 4, and it comes up, and I'm done. That's what we're doing. It's nothing really new. It's two things together. Does that make sense? So let's try number 2 together. Let's write it. Are you guys ready? Okay. There are really just 2 steps. Step number 1, I'm going to go ahead and give you some steps if you are a fan of steps. Step number 1 is find the slope, right? Can you use y minus y over x minus x? If you want. Can you use Mrs. Tarantino's trick way, which is not really a trick, but it's just change of y over change of x? Absolutely. So go ahead and give that a try with your table groups. Find the slope. So in other words, maybe you're going to go like this, and like this. Don't forget, change. Give it a try, see what you get for your slope. Share it with your neighbor. See how you do. So here I go. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Let's see if you got what I got. Change means change this guy, change this guy. So I'm going to say, ooh, -1 right there and -3 right there, but it's got to be a fraction. This guy comes underneath. -1 divided by -3 divided by -1 is 3. That guy's 3. So I have y equals 3x plus, now I got to find that guy. Everyone cool with that? Yeah? Okay. Now, I have choices again to find b. So here's the next step. I'm going to give you your next step. If you want to write these on your paper so you have them. Step 2, use slope and helping points to find b. Now, let's try it again. Maybe I'm going to put Joe on the spot again. Either one works, but I have a preference. Can anyone tell what my preference is? Joe, you want to give it a shot?
B?
Yes, do you know why?
Smaller.
They're smaller, that's true. Cole, what else?
They're the same.
They're the same, so if I get them in the wrong place, will it matter?
No.
No, so be smart, right? Give yourself every opportunity to get these right. So here we go. We're gonna say this. If you're ready, y equals 3x plus b, but I'm plugging in for the x and the y. And it's super easy because it's the same stupid number. Yay. Yay. Makes my life happy. -2 equals -6 plus b.
You know what we call that? Sorry.
How do I get that b by itself?
Stupidity.
That's it.
Thank you. I
Or you could
appreciate
just do
you
your
being here
work,
so much.
like not in your
But
head.
it's
You
so
would have
sad
gotten
when I
it
get
right.
nothing. It makes me feel
They're
like
still
Zoom
carrying
school
it.
all over again. And there you go. How many people feel like I got this? I got this. Are you ready to do number 4 on your own? Now I'm gonna be honest. Number 4's got a scary fraction, but you can do it because it's gonna work out fine. They always do. Give it a try. Work with each other. See how you do. Harrison, you're gonna lose your phone. Your phone's about to fall. That would be bad. No problem. Work together. Let's see how you do. You can do it on your desk. That's totally cool too. Here's what. Man, if you make a mistake in the beginning, you are screwed the whole way through. So please, 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 at least on the first few steps, nice and careful, nice and big. Whiteboards help because if you drop a negative somewhere in the beginning, the whole rest of the problem goes to hell. I've done that so many times. It's like, oh, 2 take away 3, and it's like 1, and it's like, now I'm screwed the whole way through. I hate that on a test. It's like, oh, you made a mistake. 1 times 1 is 1, and you went, 1 times 1 is 2, and then then everything goes to hell.
I'm tired. You want me to go somewhere?
I'm gonna give everyone a minute to get it done. When you're done, you're welcome to draw something for me on your desk so I know that you're done with the problem. And there's no disrespect for getting a calculator out. If you don't know what 28 divided by 2 is, then go ahead and put it in your calculator. No one, I'd rather you get 14 correctly than 12 because you guessed.
Hey, I got 14.
Then you got it correct.
How do I even draw?
I forgot about this. Oh no, I got it right.
You're drawing. I'm starting by finding my slope. So if you want to go ahead and watch
I don't
and
like
see
this
if your
pen.
slope matches mine,
It's so
change, change.
Was your power
Boom.
on last night?
Is it scary?
Where do you live in Clan?
Yeah.
I live
Is
in
it not?
Concord.
Is
I
it
live
going to be
in
hard? Nope.
Concord High
You
School.
guys are going to be able to
Oh.
totally do this.
So it was so weird because my neighborhood, only one side of
Yes.
the street, power went out.
Yeah. Like Pine
Yes.
Hollow Middle School is out, but Highlands wasn't.
I am
Yeah.
sure. Of course, we didn't have to.
And they said
Okay,
they're
let's
saying it's
start.
gonna
Let's
come
see
back
where we're
on, like,
at.
this
Everyone
afternoon,
get the
like, no
7 over
offense.
2.
Yes.
Does it panic you a little bit? Sure, but you're gonna be fine. So now, again, I got choices. I could pick the 2 and the -3. They're pretty small. That's not bad. I'm gonna go with the 4 and the 4. Again, for me, I have more mistakes with negatives, and I like the fact that they match. But you know what? If you did 2 -3, you will get the same answer. So here we go. We're not gonna cry. We're not gonna freak out. We're grown-up adult people. We can do this.
But like by
Y
Forest
equals
Park.
7 over 2
It's
x
by,
plus b.
remember.
I'm
It's like a
using this
park
guy,
next to it. Not
Yeah.
bad, yeah.
putting the
It's got
4
soccer
in
field
here. Now
and
watch what
soccer field.
happens. Whenever I have a fraction and I put in the 4, watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make it into a fraction because it's gonna make my life easier, right? If you got a fraction in your slope, put a fraction in, just put a 1 underneath it. Because what happens is this. 4 times 7 is 28 on the top. 2 times 1 is 2 on the bottom. Use your calculator. Again, no one is like judging you except if you get it wrong. So I'd rather you calculate it and get it right than guess and get it wrong. That is 14, just like Adrian told us. We're gonna subtract 14 from both
Not
sides.
actually a human calculator.
B equals -10. That is a
Always
scary
fun.
as hell problem, but you guys did awesome. Can I see some fingers out there? Let me know how you're feeling. Nice, nice,
What is
nice.
it? Yeah.
4, take
Wait, what
away
time do you go to
14.
bed? Me?
Did you get
I gotta
positive?
have 3 every day.
So close.
Why?
Okay, last one, best one, and then I'm shutting up for the day, and then I'm gonna come around and help
What do you do?
and check your homework.
What do you do at 3 in the morning?
Ah, this looks scary. We're gonna do the same thing. We're writing the equation, and whenever I show this, kids literally flip out and
Just like
say,
Netflix.
"Okay, I'm done. I can't do it." Let me tell you what's happening here. They're giving you more choices than you need. You need 2 points. They're giving you 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point, 5 points. You need 2. Pick 2. So right now, I want you to talk to your neighbors, decide what 2 points you want. Pick wisely. Do not pick things that have 17 in them. Maybe pick
don't
things
see
that have a
17.
0 in them. So right now, together, decide what 2 points do you want to use. It's totally up to you.
I picked the
Any
one
2
with
points
17.
will work.
There is no 17. Oh, well, I picked.
Yeah, I like
The larger
the
numbers.
5-0 myself.
Actually, I didn't
And
even
I
pick
think
any,
I
I
used
just used all
3-6
of
because
them.
it seems small, but the 112 is good too. Yeah,
It's red.
but I think I went with the 3-6 when I did
I
it.
guess not.
No, they're just, because they're just on the line, right? Anyone want to tell me what points they picked, and I'll do it with those 2 points? What'd you get, Cole? What'd you pick?
Let's do the.
Okay.
2-9. Really, not the
It's the
0?
expo marker.
How the fuck did you take it?
I love doing that.
Okay.
Look at
So, Cole did these 2.
Good job, Cole.
I would have done the 5-0 because I like the 0, but that's okay. So here's, remember, the X comes first. So 2-9 is one of my points, and 3-6 is my other point. Totally fine. You're gonna change. So I'm gonna get -1 over 3.
No.
It's
This guy
satisfying.
goes on
Can I
the
do it with these
bottom.
ones or no?
Probably not.
So my slope will be y equals -3. Oh, watch that negative.
You have to
X
smudge it all
plus B.
together.
Now, here's what's cool. Do I have to use these points to help me? No. If I now want to switch over to the 5-0, I totally can do that. But if I want to go ahead and use them, I can. Any of those points work because they're the same line. So it's totally up to you. I am going to switch over. I'll keep going. I'm going to use the 3 and the 6. They seem nice and small. So I'm using those. Those are my helpers. Any of them work. So I'm going to say 6 equals -3 times 3 plus b. 6 equals
It's easier if you
-9
do it
plus
longer.
b.
I know.
Add 9 to both sides. b equals 15.
Wait, what is it? Oh, I got it.
How'd you do?
Can't you also
That's a
just
surprise.
Absolutely. But you know what?
It increases by 3 and X increases by 1.
Yeah, but you got it. But you still will have to find your b. So unless you want to regress it, which means go backwards, but you can absolutely do that too. Yeah. But I need to show something for anyone to do, so this will always work. But can I do it by just looking at patterns?
Isn't that beautiful?
Okay, so for tonight,
is that?
la la la. I
13
think I went a
original
little long.
colonies.
There are 14, and I don't need you to do 14. I need you to do 8 on the front and 3 on the back, right? So maybe cross off 2 off the front, cross off 1 off the back. It is camera time. Don't forget, if you don't have a camera,
Mine doesn't work.
the
Oh,
answers
like
are
this.
always
Bye,
in the
COVID
front.
kids.
Oh, bye,
Don't die, don't die, don't die.